This is the Simpit. I'm your host, Sean Cole, and welcome to today's edition of the Pit Stop, where you are the real star of today's show, being the pit crew. And I got to tell you, everybody seems very pumped up for today's show. Happy Valentine's to all of you out there. You're my dear, dear friends, so I wish you the best, and I mean that in the straightest of ways. And beyond that, it is hump day, as I like to call it, Wednesday, middle of the week. It's a little day that I like to mix it up. Got my Race shirt. I don't know how many of you guys remember Race by Simpit. Back in the day, they ran the WTCC competition. Kind of one of the originators of automotive esport to an extent. I mean, competitions have been going on forever, so to call anybody the originator is kind of a long statement or a stretch of the words, but nonetheless, it goes way back to Race 07 with that great competition that they did do. So, what do we have to talk about? Some things going on in sim racing in the world of gaming today that we need to know about. So, let's just go ahead and get going with it. First thing, if you went to the Assetto Corsa Twitter feed, you saw this save the date. 2/18/21. That's a week from today. And if you click on the link, it takes you to their webpage where you see a timer counting down. Save the date. So we've talked quite a bit about what was next, from Assetto Corsa. You know, they've done a lot of DLCs. They've done a lot of updates. At what point, thank you, Ellis, at what point do you have to call it Assetto Corsa 2? Or at what point do you have to come up with a more universal name instead of something that no one knows what it means and produce a new sim under that title? Or we talked about that new web address with the Assetto Competizione. Could this be the announcement of the big Assetto Corsa competition of sorts? And is that going to be an esport? And now when I think of esport, I'll be honest with you. When I think of esport, I'm starting to think esport is pro, and then there's going to be online competitions for everybody that I'm sure all those pros will also enter into, but open versus pro. But one day, 4 hours, 57 minutes, and 8 seconds from now, we will know what they have up their sleeves. So we'll be back next hump day to find out what that is, and we'll be 4 hours short, so we'll have to find out on Thursday. Rumor has it that the alpha is faster. That is what I have heard. I have not done my own testing, and I've seen plenty of fast guys in the other makes doing just fine. So it depends on, you know, and it's a distinctly different handling car, so it might not suit everybody, even though it might be the most potential. So next up, Project Cars 2, they have their driver rankings coming off of one of their esport competitions. This is the Austria League. So I think that, you know, as this grows, I think we're going to have to start staying aware. You know, if you're into football, you know who the pros are. If you're into any major sport, you know who the pros are. And we are avid sim racers, and it's time that we start recognizing who the pros of our sport, our hobby, our industry, whatever you want to call it, whoever they are. So that's from Project Cars 2. So Race Room, they keep doing some teasers. So here's yesterday's photo. There it is. I'm going to come back to that in a moment. Here's today's photo. Been asking a lot of people. Nobody's really come out with the answer. And then our sleuth, George Wiseman. Our sleuth. He did some research. He found some stuff. And check this out. Boom. What's that? Look at that. Now look at that. That, my friends, is Zhuhai. Zhuhai is what we are thinking is this track. Look at this. Look at the likeness between these two photos. And let's go one step further. Here's a view. This is an aerial view video of Zhuhai. And if we go to about the 1:30 mark, we come up on this part of the track. Boom, there it is. See this little shed right there? And if we go back to their image, you see that little shed right there. It's there. I am pretty sure this is the track. So they have not told us. Here's today's teaser. And congratulations to George if he is the one who would... I think some other people have found it and he might have researched on other people's, but he sent me the photos, sent me the video, and I think we have it, people. So that's kind of cool. Good, well done, pit crew. Next up, Race Department has a cool article here. So if you go to Race Department, their Twitter feed, and this is an article about Haas, about Gene Haas talking about looking to sign an American driver to put into the Formula One program. And, you know, they did mention a few names down here. There was only one that there were only a couple I liked, actually. But obviously Alexander Rossi, I think, would probably be the best choice, in my opinion. He mentions Andretti, Kimball, Peugeot, Newgarden, maybe. Don't know. But wouldn't it be great? Wouldn't it just be great? I know we have a very international audience, but I would imagine that even international people, wouldn't it be cool to at least see one American driver in Formula One? But I guess for years it's been a testament of the talent pool coming out of America, and we just haven't had the talent. So don't give us, don't make it an affirmative action type of thing. Definitely don't make it an affirmative. We need to earn that spot, and I mean that seriously, America. So next up from WRC, we talked about the results from the last round Deutschland. Now we're moving on to Rally Sweden. So we'll stay on top of that. Here are the conditions. You know, here's the thing. If you look at this, you see the conditions in advance. Here they are. We see the final leaderboard. So if you had taken last week's moment where we announced it and gone out and turned laps, stages, you would have known how an 850 sized up against your talent. Well, do that this week. Take the challenge. Have some fun. If you have WRC7, go grab it. Run Rally Sweden at Karlstad. Snow 100%, cloudy evening, and non with snow at 100% and a sunny day. And see what your stage time is and see how it compares to the best of the best. So, there you go. Next up, Rick Motek. You know, not only do they make a bunch of great products, but they're also importers of various goods. And this is the Arosi Velocita wheel stand that works with like a rolling desk chair. And I know a lot of people don't have the space to build a rig. I know a lot of people need to keep it kind of discreet because their families aren't big fans of it. But this is something that you could throw in the closet and pull out and strap on, bolt onto your chair, and have a pretty reasonable wheel stand that works with the desk layout that you're already accustomed to. Next up, TT Isle of Man. VVV has some first impressions. I don't. I've sent them another email, crossing my fingers. I'd love to try it. Love to give you my thoughts. But you're going to start seeing some various different reviews out there, and we'll be able to start getting a real sense of how this game is going to be. I look forward to it. A little offended that I didn't get it, but that's okay. I didn't do as much work as I could have to track it down. Hopefully we'll still get a copy, but nonetheless, it is a game that I'm excited about, and I'm going to say that for you know, straightforward, copy in hand or not. Next up, TechPowerup. They talk about gaming becomes the new college football, and players can now hire Call of Duty coaches. They talk about Irvine having LOL scholarships, University of Utah having Call of Duty scholarships. Man, I wish I was 30 years younger. Can you imagine? I don't know if I had the grades to get a scholarship in gaming, even if I was a good gamer, but wow, gaming, you know, it's been around since, you know, the 70s, to be fair, arcading, and here we are 40 years later, and it is becoming professional. It is becoming as big as anything else on Earth, and I'm a little surprised and shocked that my quarters into Pac-Man would someday turn into auditoriums filled watching people play video games. So, next up, UK retailer to open esports arenas in game deals. So, a combining of forces, two companies, and again, we're seeing venues popping up in every country dedicated to gaming. We sim racers, we're seeing an explosion of this sim racing esport. We are on the heels of that. Very, very good time to be where we are. Here's an article at IGN. If you want to check it out, you can. Again, I have the links to all of these topics that we're talking about at thesimpit.com. Just go there, look for that Pitstop logo for today with the big truck there, and you will be able to follow any of the stories that we're talking about. But Gravel wants to revive arcade off-road racing, and I think that's kind of cool. And we talk about like Monster Supercross coming, and there are some things that are done great in the sim world, and there are other things that are done perhaps even better sometimes in the gaming side of things. So Gravel took it seriously to achieve certain goals. And this is another one that I'm quite eager to try out, because as you guys know and you've seen from my Monday Fun Days, I like gaming. I like just having fun, and it doesn't always have to be a 12-hour race at iRacing to inspire me. So, next up, Valentine's Day in GTA. I bring this up not so much because it's a sim game, not so much because it's Valentine's Day, even though it is, but because I had a lot of fun playing Grand Theft Auto on Monday in a sick, sadistic way. But anyway, here's the Vapid Hustler, a Valentine's Day gift, and some other special things going on in GTA 5 as a Valentine's Day tribute, I guess, sort of ironic of all of the games to honor Valentine's Day. Yes, Billy, and that takes me to my next story, actually. So here's a review at Xbox Gamer Review, and I'm not picking this one out for any reason other than it's come out. I know Billy has it. So, Billy, have you tried it? Have you given it a whirl? Is it cool? Is it fun? I'd love to play that game. I'd love to build my own track. What's the multiplayer like? Can you restrict it? Anyway, but you will find, if you're looking to find out more details on Monster Energy Supercross, and to stay on the bitter note from my side on games, so what's funny about this one is I have an email chain from this company where months ago they wanted to hire me to do a review. And I said, I don't really do paid reviews, but send me a copy and I'll review it. Time goes by. Then they came and they said, we want to pay you to do a walkthrough of the game. And I was like, okay, well, that seems legitimate. Number one, I don't have the game. Number two, what do you, they want to know how much. And I'm like, well, what do you want? How long do you want it to be? How detailed? Blah, blah, blah. And anyway, I never really got those answers. And then they're like, can you send us an example of your paid walkthroughs? And I'm like, I think you guys misunderstand what the Simpit does and what I do here. Anyway, I never got a copy, funny enough. After 4 or 5 different people from their company being in that email chain, and me repeatedly saying that I'd love to do a review and I don't have a copy, I never got a copy. So, anyway, I might buy it. I mean, if I have to, I might. This is kind of a cool, funny story, but Hot Wheels has put out a physical set for Rocket League. So, I'm not mentioning this as a big Rocket League fan, but it shows you how gaming is now coming outside of our computers into the world of reality. And when it's popular enough that Hot Wheels wants to capture it and wants to do things with it, that is even cooler. So I'll just play a moment of this so I don't get... But there's Rocket League Hot Wheels. But they're just capturing into that same market, and it's just showing you bought yours. Yeah, I'll buy one just for the fun of it. Well, actually, I'm gonna wait till Billy tells me if it's worth buying or not. That's what I'm waiting for. So, but again, my main point here is seeing our computer games being used. Now we are being used. I mean, next thing you're gonna see a Project Cars 2 Taco Bell meal of the week. You know, who knows? Who knows what we're going to see next? Next up, Spintires. This is a front runner for... Honestly, this is a front runner. I need to just do a straight up review of Spintires from what I know about it. I was going to say it's going to be a Monday Fun Day game, but in reality, that's something I just want to do. And maybe want to show to all of you guys. Anyway, there's some DLC. The Mud Runner was one of theirs, and they have new DLC. The Valley is now out. You can get it at the Microsoft Store. I believe they're on Steam as well. I think that's where I've seen Spintires, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, that's kind of a cool addition if you knew and love that game and you want to have a reason to dust it off and play it again. Next up, NVIDIA teases a new type of video card, and they talked about a Titan V-esque surprise for March 2018. So next month, we might hear something that they're calling the Turing as a new GPU gaming chip. So this could be a very big deal for us, as we've seen a skyrocket in graphics cards. Maybe they've done something to make this very gamey and less great for mining. Who knows? But that could be a game changer. And what we're also starting to see, and this is good news, if it weren't for those damn cryptocurrency miners, if we could start to see that AMD NVIDIA rivalry build up again, it will drive down prices and increase performance. That's the bottom line. Competition breeds to the best products, sims, wheels, everything. So, next up, actually, we're almost to the end of the show. Covered a lot. I've kind of been rattling through it here today. So, here's an article at Sim Racing Observer. And it talks about the story that we talked about yesterday, Renault Sports Formula 1 team in gaming, their gaming version of the team. And what's a little troubling in his article, and I think I've alluded to this thought throughout the show over the last few months, but he's talking about his fear of what's going on and what could happen. But Renault Sport Formula 1 team didn't go hire Gregor Hutu, Martin Kroenke, Michael Conti, Michi Hoyer. They went and hired a team that has 3 Rocket League players. So they're going the other direction. And when the big money comes in and they favor that direction, that could have a negative effect on us someday. That they're going to see this, potentially, as the gaming version of simulation that we do instead of this. I don't like that thought either. Anyway, I always like Jake Sperry's thoughts. I had a conversation with him. Great guy. And I'm a big fan of Sim Racing Observer. Other than that, that really takes us to the end, other than just some other news. Mitchie, if you're in the chat, what do you have got going on today? I'll tell you what we've got. We've got the Sim Racing Systems new season starting. So if you go to Sim Racing Systems, you go to their race schedule, you scroll down. It's being slow. Fortunately, I have a different graphic. And you will see the Simpit 90s DTM revival. That image should change soon. And Mugello is our first race, which starts up tomorrow. So tonight, that would take us to our good old Attack the Track. And we're going to be there tonight. So we have a 24-hour, 7 days a week server. Thank you to Dennis the Big One. We have a passworded and an unpassworded server. And on Wednesday night at 6 p.m. is when I will do my Attack the Track, work on my setup, do everything I can to prepare for the race that it'll be on Thursday and Friday. So please, if you haven't already, go check out Sim Racing System, simracingsystem.com. Join up there and get out there and join us for the on track. At the end of the season, I'll be giving away a Simpit t-shirt to a random winner, somebody who has made an appearance in one of all 6 weeks of the season. 2 races each week to choose from. Just pick one of them. You've made your eligibility. So come out and join us. I've been meaning to do a video showing you my favorite apps for Assetto Corsa and how to join Sim Racing System. And if you look at the Simpit YouTube channel and search for Sim Racing System, you'll find a video I did a few months ago telling you how to do some of it. I wanted to do an updated version. I've just been behind. But what I might do is just do a live version. Like fire up my single screen computer and just start loading that up. So if you're new and you want to, hopefully I'll get something that'll help you along. But all you really have to do is have a copy of Assetto Corsa. Go over to Sim Racing System, sign up for an account there. All the content this season is within Assetto Corsa. There might be some that's DLC, but it's all factory content. No outside mods this season. So it should be fun. The guys have been talking about driving the cars. It's the Alpha against the BMW against the Mercedes. It's going to be fun. 20-minute sprint races, which means there's not a lot of pressure. Just come out and have fun with us. And it's a good way to hang out with the entire pit crew and have a good time on track. So that's going to do it for today's show. I'll be back at 6 with Attack the Track, and we will show you how to drive the Alpha at Mugello tonight. So that's going to do it. This is the Simpit. I'm Sean Cole, and I'll see you on the track.